We're deconstructing spring rolls and enjoying them in a high-protein bowl with ginger ground chicken, homemade Hoisin peanut butter sauce, and fresh veggies. You get all the flavor without the gluten or carbs of the wonton wrapper. Hello, my name is Nicole Bonilla, and if you love healthier recipes to our favorite foods, then you are in the right place. To make this delicious chicken filling, we're going to start by prepping a few ingredients. Now you're welcome to jot down these ingredients and measurements as we go along, or you can click on the link that's in the video description below. And that will take you to the full recipe that has all the nutrition facts, ingredients and substitutions, as well as frequently asked questions. So for our green onion, I've just taken 2 green onion stalks, chopped off the white part, and then diced it into these little pieces. And then I just took 1/4 cup of canned water chestnuts, and then finely diced them as well. And then for the ginger, I just took a ginger root and then grated about 1 teaspoon of ginger. So then we can set these aside. And then to thicken the meat at the very end, we want to make a really simple little cornstarch slurry. So I've just taken 1 tablespoon of water, and then we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, and then we'll just mix it together as it quickly dissolves. And then we can set this aside. Now to cook this chicken filling, you could use any skillet that you like. I really like using my Hex-Clad hybrid pan because it combines the best of non-stick, stainless steel, and cast iron. So I'm going to bring my pan over a medium heat, and then I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of some light olive oil. And I'll just move that around to coat the pan. And then I'll add in our onions to help season the oil. And I'll just give those a good stir. And then I'm going to add in 1 pound of some ground chicken. And then I'll just gently start breaking it up with my spatula. I'll add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And I'm using tamari sauce to keep it gluten-free. 1 teaspoon of some toasted sesame oil. 1 teaspoon of some rice vinegar. And then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of some garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a couple dashes of pepper. And then we'll just come with our spatula and work all those seasonings into the meat. And now we'll just let this cook for about 3 to 4 minutes, stirring occasionally until our meat is almost cooked through. And now that the meat is almost all the way cooked through, I'm going to go ahead and add our water chestnuts, as well as our fresh ginger. And then we'll just stir those down into the meat. And then we'll let this cook for about 2 more minutes just to let all those flavors melt together. And now we'll give our little cornstarch slurry a quick stir. And then we'll just pour this down inside the meat. And then we'll just stir this for about 2 minutes until it starts to thicken. And now you can see the meat has a nice little glossy finish to it, which means our slurry has thickened and this meat is done. So you can go ahead and remove it from the heat. And then we have this incredible smelling Asian chicken filling. To make this really easy sauce, we're going to start with a few very simple ingredients. So in our measuring bowl, we're going to start by adding 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. And I like to use an all-natural creamy peanut butter. And it's going to be a little bit more runny than your standard peanut butter. Next, we'll add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and I'm using some tamari sauce to keep it gluten-free. You can use any variety that you like. And to add some really delicious deep flavor, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of molasses. And for some natural sweetness, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of honey, and 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, and 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. Now for the ginger, you could use dried ginger if that's all you have, but I recommend using fresh ginger because it has the best flavor. So I'm just adding about a teaspoon of some fresh ginger. Now I recommend adding the salt after you've mixed it all together because depending on the peanut butter or the soy sauce that you're using, it might already have plenty of salt. But I am going to add a dash of pepper, and then we'll just stir this together. Now this is optional, but I highly recommend toasting the coconut first to give it a little more flavor and color. So I'm just taking my little skillet and I'm using my Hex-Clad pan. And then I'm just going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of some butter. Then we'll drop in about 1/4 cup of coconut and a pinch of salt. And then we'll give it a quick stir so it's all lightly coated in the butter. And then we're just going to let it sit until we start to see those little pieces starting to get a nice little golden brown color on the edges. And then we're going to gently just keep stirring it until it's nice and toasted. And as soon as it has those nice golden brown edges, we can remove it from the heat, and then we'll transfer it back to our bowl to cool. Now you can scramble your egg however you like, but I'm going to show you a really simple Asian method. So we're just going to bring our pan to a low-medium heat, and then I'm just going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of butter. And then we'll crack our egg into a bowl, quickly whisk it with a fork, and pour it down into our pan. And then with our spatula, we just want to very gently pull the egg toward the center and let the extra runny egg fill in that space. So we're just going to do this a couple of times, and then we'll season with about 2 pinches of salt. And then I'm going to put on my lid, and we'll just let this cook until the top is set. So after about 30 seconds, we can tell that the top is set. So our egg is done. So I'm just going to transfer this to a little cutting board. And then starting on one end, I'm just going to gently roll it up. And then I'll just let this sit and cool until it's time to add it to our bowl. Now that our meat is cooked, our sauce is made, our egg is scrambled, our coconut is toasted, we can do the final prep for our bowl. So I've just taken 1/4 of a cucumber and sliced it nice and thin. And then I have 1 green onion, and we're just going to do a few diagonal chops on it. I have a few leaves of cilantro here that we'll finely dice. And then I have some edamame beans, which you can just buy frozen and then allow them to thaw and store in your fridge. Now for the base of the bowl, you could use any lettuce that you like. I'm going to use some cabbage just to get that classic spring roll flavor. So I'm going to cut it into quarters and then just make some really thin slices. And then I'm going to take our cute little scrambled egg and I'm just going to slice it. And this will create some really fun little egg rosettes that we can put in our bowl. But honestly, it will taste just the same as a regular scrambled egg. It just looks prettier. Now to assemble the bowl, I'm going to start with some cabbage. And then I like to add in my sauce. And then I can give that a good stir with the cabbage. And that just makes sure that the cabbage gets well coated, which will help soften it and enhance the flavor. Then we can add a scoop of our meat mixture, a few of our shredded carrots, a few of our thinly sliced cucumbers, a few edamame beans, a sprinkle of cilantro, and oh, we're not done yet. A few of my little scrambled egg rosettes, a few extra peanuts for some crunch, and add a touch of sweetness and texture from our toasted coconut. And then this is optional, but we can add a few little wonton strips to be able to get that spring roll wrapper texture. And then just a little more sauce over the top because it is so good. And then this is ready to be enjoyed. That tastes incredible. I can best describe it as an Asian fusion of flavors that come together with the best crunch and texture. The fresh vegetables are just vibrant and crunchy. The meat is so juicy and full of flavor, and the crunchy peanuts, that is seriously so good. And all these components can easily be batch prepped and stored in the fridge, and then you can pull them out to enjoy a bowl whenever you like. Now, if you could use more healthy inspiration on a regular basis, I invite you to join my email list. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below, and that is the best way for us to stay connected. And I want to thank you for hanging out with me today in my kitchen. I have included a link to this full recipe and it's in the video description below, and that will take you to my website, gentletomy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I cannot wait to have you hang out with me again in my kitchen.